Greetings. By virtue of your presence watching this video today, I want you to know that we consider you to be an extended member of our family at Unity in Linwood. We believe that you are an individualized expression of that one creative impetus which stands behind all life. And as such, we celebrate the uniqueness which you are, and we celebrate our unity with you. We are glad you're with us.
The event is called Liberation Through Chant. We've created an entire evening for you. It's scheduled for Wednesday, July 26th at 7 o'clock p.m. You're invited to bring your pillows, your blankets, your mats. Bring an item for the community altar if you would like. We'd love to have you be a part of that. Unity in Linwood's resident Rabbi Ted Falcon offers Spiritual Saturdays. That's coming up this particular Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning with music, meditation, and teaching. Rabbi Ted continues his focus on what he calls spiritually supportive responses to stressful times. This is followed the next week by Mother Kathy Chalmers, who offers an independent Catholic Mass, familiar in form but compatible in content with Unity teachings, and that's on Saturday the 22nd at 5:30 p.m. Your Board of Trustees cordially invites you to join us for our third annual all-community picnic. It is following this service at Lindale Park on the last Sunday of the month, July 30th. All are welcome. Please register at the welcome and information table. If you would like to contribute a side or dessert, you are welcome to. It is not mandatory. Please let us thank you for your gift of presence and for your countless gifts of service. Please let us do that. Your artist of the month, her name is Marianne Justin, and if you have not had the privilege of encountering her handmade greeting cards, and I haven't even done the fancy yet, please visit the Spiritual Gift Shop and avail yourself to her amazing artistry. Is that not stunning? It just gets bigger and bigger. Marianne, would you wave at these kind people, please, and let them have a face to go with your beautiful artistry? Every service has an ambassador. This person's role is to support you in your exploration of the divine idea we call Unity in Linwood. And so it is that if you do have a question about who we are, about what we believe, what we teach, about what is available to you, or if you have a suggestion, we want to hear. We want to hear. This person is poised to meet all of these needs and even more. Her name is Nan Allen. Would you wave to these kind people, please, Nan? And just so you know, beginning next week, Hungry Harry will be in the house. You have no idea what that means yet, but you will, and I guarantee you it is a pinnacle experience in the life of Unity in Linwood. No pressure. Please bring your non-perishable food items to throw in Hungry Harry's mouth during July's Fun Food Raising Drive. It's co-sponsored by our local humanitarian outreach ministry and our youth and family ministries. Practical spirituality, welcoming community. It is our admittedly short mission statement. I like to support this with a short bullet point which we developed in conversation with your Board of Trustees beginning in late 2014. Take a deep breath. See if this belongs to you. It reads as follows: we seek to discover and to share spiritual practices which are reliable, which are repeatable, and to infuse these spiritual practices into every area of daily life. Fair enough? Well done. So 3 or 4 times a year, in the interest of that practical spirituality, I like to offer a recurring format entitled Speak Up, Your Questions Explored. After all, if, as we say, we seek to offer spiritual practices which are repeatable and reliable, and to infuse these spiritual practices into every area of daily life, shouldn't we put it to the test once in a while? I'm going to start this service again. Let's start over. And yet I've decided to approach this lesson with something of a twist. In other words, I've decided to present the answers first. Think of it as my rendition of Carson's old Karnak the Magnificent routine. Now, Karnak was presented as a mystic from the East who would give answers to questions yet unknown. And while I might be better described as something of a pragmatist from the Midwest, I think the workings of the cosmos will prove equally reliable. So let me start with the first answer. Are you ready? Okay. Scott, I'm going to need your help with this. So if you submitted a question, great. If you didn't, it's not too late. Call a question to mind. Can be a question about relationship, can be a... Hey, my God laughs. That's can be a question about health, can be a question about resource. Call it to mind. Call it to mind. And the first answer is, there is but one power in the universe, and it's called God. There is no absence of life, substance, or intelligence anywhere. How did I do? Mr. Fillmore expanded upon this answer by writing, divine mind has ideas of substance, unlimited and everywhere present, equally available to all. Dr. Emily Cady explained further that we do not have to beseech God any more than we have to beseech the sun to shine. No more can God help pouring into us unlimited wisdom, life, power, all good, because to give is a law of God's being. How am I doing with your question so far? The fact is, each one looking at the same world sees according to the size of the aperture through which he is looking. And he limits the world to just his own circumscribed view of it. The only lack is our own lack of appropriation. And finally, you don't change God's attitude toward you one iota by importuning or affirming. You only change your attitude toward God. You see, each of us lives, moves, and has our being, to quote Paul, in this infinite potential, which we, by virtue of our presence in a building such as this, on a day such as this, call God. Each of us lives, moves, and has our beingness in a profound love, in an infinite wisdom, in life itself. And this profound love, this infinite wisdom, this life itself does the only thing it can do, and that's to make the fullness of itself available to its creation. So when something less than the love of God appears, the adjustment is ours to make. When something less than the wisdom of God appears, the adjustment is ours to make. When something less than the life of God appears, the adjustment is ours to make. You see, the shortfall is never in God's givingness. The only possible shortfall is in our receivingness. It's been said that the infinite cannot contract itself to accommodate the finite, but that the finite must expand itself to realize the infinite. You see, our job is always to get a bigger idea of God. That was nice. I've had several drum rolls in my life, but never a cymbal crash, so. The second answer is this. Tell me what kind of thoughts you are holding about yourself and your neighbors, and I can tell you what you may expect in the way of finances and harmony in your home. How many questions did I answer with that one? Or more specifically, we must carefully choose what thoughts we are going to loose and what thoughts we are going to bind, for they will come into manifestation in our affairs. Take a deep breath. You're doing good so far. Or, like attracts like. A thought will take up abode in our consciousness with thoughts of like character. This law of attraction continues until combined thoughts make a colony. Ooh, I like to think of it this way. The universe always says yes. The universe says yes. In other words, the universe, the creative mechanisms, the cosmic workings, the divine circuits, if you will, don't so much discern between what you want and what you don't want as they discern between what you think about and what you don't think about. Thank you, Linda Babin. So the lover you want, the universe seems to say yes. The abuser you don't, the universe seems to say yes. The peace you want, the universe seems to say yes. The discord you don't, the universe seems to say yes. You see, the charge is simply to become more fascinated with what you desire to give rise to than you are with what you desire to eliminate. I like to think that St. Teresa understood this dynamic when she so famously said, I was once asked why I don't participate in anti-war demonstrations. I said, I will never do that, but as soon as you have a pro-peace rally, I'll be there every time. And again, the whisper of the cosmos beckons. And the answer is it's essential that we have the right concept of our body as a sacred vessel housing the Christ life during our sojourn on earth. Is that a beautiful thought? Or this, the true body is an ethereal body, an indestructible body. The body of flesh is the grosser vibration that the sense consciousness beholds. You see, your body exists at the effect of soul. This is perhaps among Unity's most prominent teachings. I think it's fair to say that you sit in a Unity center this morning because not so many years ago a woman decided to test the idea that the quality of her consciousness could impact the quality of her physiology. That the restorative, regenerative, renewing capabilities of the body might respond to the very thought atmosphere, if you will, in which they function. And as many of us already know, Myrtle Fillmore lived a long and a full life after her early tuberculosis diagnosis. Oh, boy, I almost got it. Tuberculosis diagnosis. Thank you. Boy, I even took my time on that. How far have we departed from the model in which Mrs. Fillmore apologized to her body for any thoughts of condemnation, for any thoughts of limitation? How far have we departed from that? I know I'm not the only one who looks at pictures from 10 years ago and thinks, wow, why can't you look like that again? And I know I'm not the only one who's lured into conversations about failing memories and falling parts. How far have we departed from the model in which Mrs. Fillmore immersed her body in thoughts of gratitude? Now, for Mr. Fillmore, to assume human form represented something of a D+ in soul unfoldment school. In other words, to assume human form represented something undesirable to be overcome. And yet again, having acknowledged Mr. Fillmore's position, I happen to believe that it's an incredible honor to be on this grand exploration in a world of multiplicity. So welcome to Unity yet again, where I don't have to agree with everything they say, where you don't have to agree with everything I say, and when we're all done disagreeing, we will love each other up really good over coffee. Right? So I think it's an incredible honor to be in this human world of hot and cold, high and low, here and there, light and dark. I happen to believe that it's an incredible honor to taste chocolate, to watch whales, to listen to the music of Rachmaninoff, and to shake your hands every Sunday. And I happen to believe that when I reach the end of this earthly experience, I will look back over the totality of it. Yes, the moments of ease and joy, and the moments of challenge and sadness, and say, wow, what a great ride, what a great ride. I hope I get to do that again really soon. And it is the body. It is this vehicle which makes that grand exploration possible. Next answer is very important. It was written, what men need above all else in this day is more wisdom, more discretion in the use of the life that they have, more life with the same old destructive ignorance in using it would add to their misery. Yet God does not dictate man's choice in this or in any other act. If man finds the law, he may use it blindly and ignorantly if he elects, but he must also abide by the results. And this is where man sets up his wail of sorrow. He does not like to reap his sowing. Woo! From another angle, the pessimist moans, I could make a better world than this, and the optimist sings, that's what God put you here for. Or this one, it is the law of spirit that we must be that which we would draw to us. If we would draw to us love, we must be love, be loving and kind. If we would have peace and harmony in our environment, we must establish it within ourselves. Amen. To quote Dr. Chris Michaels, the first gift of love is freedom. In other words, humanity is free to create whatever we want. And it's my belief that as humanity pursues an understanding and an embodiment of truth, the quality of our creation changes for the better. Some might say that truth has the capacity to set us free. It's my belief that as humanity gets it, that we're all made of the same stuff, our creation changes for the better. It's my belief that as humanity gets it, that the essence of creation isn't the body, but the soul. The quality of our creation changes for the better. It's my belief that as humanity gets it, that all life is deeply sacred. It's my belief that our creation changes for the better. So why does the world appear as it does? Because humanity is free to create whatever we want. Or in the words of the poet, I know not whence I came, I know not whither I go, but the fact stands clear that I am here in this world of pleasure and woe. And out of the mist and murk, another truth shines plain. It is my power each day and each hour to add to its joy or its pain. Never argue with a drummer. I mean, they're always louder. It's one of my favorite answers in the morning. No step in spiritual unfoldment is more important than renunciation or elimination. We must learn to let go, to give up, to make room for the things we have prayed for and desired. It's my strong belief that the best question we can ask is, what must I get out of the way of the divine circuits here? We're quite addicted to getting, you know. If I can really stand in the idea that each of us lives, moves, and has our being in a profound love and an infinite wisdom in life itself, and if I can really wrap my head around this idea that this profound love, that this infinite wisdom, that life itself does the only thing it can do, and that's to make the fullness of itself available to its creation, then how might I be limiting this givingness in my experience? And while we're quick to jump to the old resentments and to the deep fears and to the low estimations, rightly so, by the way, I'd like to invite us to consider on this Sunday morning the possibility that it's life's tolerable mediocrities which tend to be the unnoticed culprits. In other words, I would invite us to consider the possibility that it might very well be our good that's getting in the way of our better. What must I get out of the way of the divine circuits here? Answer 6, I want to stimulate you to lose sight of all differences, all side issues and lesser things, and seek but for one thing, that is the consciousness of the presence of an indwelling God in you and your life. This is in response to a question about purpose, and I have absolutely nothing to add to it. So the final answer . A little souvenir. Thousands are held in bondage to the belief that they must be helped when their salvation lies in helping themselves. Or this: another cannot do this for you. You think it would be nice if some master of spiritual ideas would help you to his understanding, but this is a childish dream. You can be yourself only by living your own life and finding its issues at the fountainhead. Look, God has no middle management. Contrary to so many religious systems, unity gathers you together week after week to remind you to actively seek, explore, and cultivate your own experience of God, by whatever name you choose to call it. And until and unless you do this, you are simply enjoying someone else's story. So in truth, I want you to know that I've read each of your 3,000 words submitted as questions. Questions about the nature of God, questions about the nature of humanity. I've read each of your 3,000 words about the condition of the world. I've read each of your 3,000 words about thought and prayer and supply and purpose and body and wholeness. And while I didn't answer them all directly, it's my sincere hope that something herein has inspired you to recommit to your own path of discovery. For as I like to close each of these recurring lessons, I don't have your answers. Only you have your answers. The encouragement of this Essay 100 is the encouragement ultimately discovered in any true spiritual discourse. Let this be the day in which you relinquish the inadequate meanderings of others and begin to seek a personal understanding and a personal experience of the powers which exist beyond your personal power. Let this be the day in which you relinquish the nonsense, the bigotry, the elitism, the hatred, the fickleness of the world's ignorance through its countless forms for the truths which beckon to you from the depths of your own heart. Let this be the day in which you relinquish outer authority for inner authority. Let this be the day in which you relinquish God's self-appointed interpreters this writer included, and assume your appropriate place in direct and personal communion with the creative substance of all life. Let this be the day in which you relinquish the fears of ignorance and abandon yourself to the creative exploration that is this human life. Let this be the day in which you relinquish selfish and fleeting morality for a higher and steadfast authority. So let this be the day in which you write your own essay about God. And let me know how that goes. So the message of this Essay 100 is simple. Ignore all of this and go discover God for yourself.
Thanks again for joining us. Please visit unityandlinwood.org for a preview of all upcoming classes, services, and events, and for an opportunity to make a gift to our community should you so choose. Thank you.